what's going on? So recently, on HBO Max, Tenet came out, and it's a movie that Nick and I have really wanted to see, and I personally was hoping to see it in theaters, but due to the whole pandemic, wasn't able to. But Nick and I finally got the chance to watch it in our own homes, and we're gonna discuss it. And this movie, I
Yeah.
really liked it, but it hurt my brain so much, and that's part of the reason why I love and hate Christopher Nolan so much.
Uh, I really wasn't that confused by it. I just kind of bored the whole time.
You were bored?
Kinda.
I mean,
But some parts were cool.
I wasn't confused. Like, I understood how the
Kind of
time
the
travel worked, but it's just I was confused at like the whole meaning and purpose of the movie necessarily.
some of the plot points didn't really make sense. Like, why did he have to go here to go there to go here? And it has nothing to do with the time travel parts. Like some parts just like that whole I don't know.
What, when he's bouncing around to go see
No, like
Rhea,
that
to seeing Michael Caine, to going to
that yeah, exactly.
I mean, they're all
And
in
then it
different
never
countries.
never came up again. I was like, okay.
I mean, maybe they just bounce around different countries. You don't need to see the jet ride all the
The
time.
whole time travel part of it, I wasn't lost.
No, I got that. I got all that. I so I actually did kind of like the time travel in it.
No,
I
I
mean,
did. That was cool. The coolest part for sure. I
well, I
liked
mean,
how when
in a way, and not like any of the set pieces. I'm just saying as a concept, Christopher Nolan's time travel in this, just because I like the whole predestined thing. Because if I think about like multiverse theories and stuff, that just fucking hurts my head. But
how the protagonist was predestined,
yeah, exactly. Like basically the way I saw the movie.
kind of by himself. He was predestined by himself, kind of.
Yeah, and we'll get into that. But the question I kind of had that I'm like still kind of confused on is so all this is predestined to happen and like them stop World War III because it seems like it's a continuous loop. Because at
Yeah.
the end Neil says, this is the end of my journey, and he's like, oh, this is the end of our
Starter
friendship.
years.
Yeah, and the start of yours, and
Right.
so he knows he's
Because
gonna die, and then that sets the protagonist to start Tenet, and then do the recruiting,
yeah.
recruit Neil, bring him right back to that same point where
Yeah.
Neil uh, inverts
Meets.
back in time to go to whatever point that he meets the protagonist from the
Yeah.
beginning of the movie. So it's all a continuous loop. So if they're always stopping World War III, then when does is there any way that they're not going to have to deal with a situation where a World War III happens?
Well, it's kind of like, oh, what is that theory called? It's
The one in the movie?
no, in like real life. Um,
I mean, the one they use in the movie is the palindrome, but
right, because that's the theme of it.
well, yeah, but well, if you can't think of the name, like describe, like
It's like a fuck. It's a paradox. Like it, World War III did happen at one point, but now that the whole, you know, John Washington did the Tenet thing to stop it, and he did stop it, but now, but now it will never happen again, or it technically never happened because they changed time. So it happened at one time, and now they're trying to stop a thing that never will happen or never did happen because they previously stopped it previously. So it's just a paradox. I
yeah,
mean,
that's what I thought, like a continuous loop
it's a
paradox.
hard
Yeah,
thing to think about, but just thinking about it as a paradox, it wraps it up nicely. I mean, like it's just it's a thing that did happen that they changed, and because they changed it, it never will happen, and it technically never did because they changed time, so it never happened in the first place, even though it did, but they went back to stop it, so it never
Okay,
will
yeah.
happen.
Yep. So yeah, the
It never will
paradox.
happen, so yeah, so
Yeah,
technically it never did
is they're
because it is
working
a
against the future that will never happen, but they're
yeah,
still
and
stuck
it
in that loop where
and the future is going on at the same time technically,
I just
not
wonder how
really
long it'll
because
go because again, with Neil at the end knowing that he's gonna die, he must have known that. I see. I want to know if he knew that kind of from the beginning, or if
no, he did.
it
I
was him
mean,
seeing, because I know he saw an inverted version of himself when he was going to try and warn the protagonist and
yeah,
um, Ives, uh, and then
yeah,
one of those versions, either the one that he saw or his version, I forget, is the one that unlocks the door and takes the bullet for the protagonist.
yeah.
Yeah, see, I mean, it's
I think
talking
that
about
whole
this is
part
like a
is so
whole lot of
cool.
words.
I feel like that. Yeah, it is a whole lot of words when it's kind of simple, but it's not simple to explain.
It sounds like rambling.
Um,
Anyways, but
I see. I like that part. The part I didn't like, I guess, is the plot of the World War III, or this random arms dealer guy that secretly wanted the whole world to go out with him because he had cancer. I feel like this concept could have went better with a different plot. Maybe that was why I didn't like it as much.
oh yeah, I definitely can see where you're coming from. Like,
I just didn't give a fuck about this random ass drug dealer guy, or not drug arms dealer.
yeah, I mean, I like the movie a lot, but it's definitely probably one of the lower ones on my Christopher Nolan list.
And I don't know if I mentioned before in other of our episodes, but I'm not the biggest Christopher Nolan guy to begin with, so I kind of went in even headed. I don't hate him, or nor do I love him, so I went in with a really fair mindset, I think.
I really like Christopher Nolan. I like kind of the
Right.
darker
So
aesthetic that his whole movie seemed to be shot in. I like the little
I don't know
plot. I
why
like
he
the
has
plot
to.
twists. I like,
He is so set out to make like quote unquote confusing like things, plot twists, I guess.
yeah, that's
Even though this one didn't really. The only plot twist in this one was the
that it's all a loop.
you
And
kind of knew it was a loop in the first place. I mean, just because you know inversion.
I mean, I kind of guessed it, but then again,
Well,
that's
the
probably like three-quarters of the way through. I kind of was like, between the
like the
few
twist,
theories I had on how it'll
right?
end, that's what I thought it was.
Well, the twist was that the protagonist created Tenet in the first place. Like he is the reason.
Yeah,
He's
and
the one behind it all, even though he's the one,
who got brought
the
into it?
newbie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I like Christopher Nolan also because, like, with this, Prestige, Memento, uh,
I never saw
Inception, like,
Prestige.
I like all the risks he takes. But like, yeah, they are confusing concepts at times, and you might need to watch it just the second viewing to fully get it. But
Inception's one of the most overrated movies ever.
I
I'll say it. Uh,
I love that movie.
I
But
know, and a lot of people do. I'm kind of probably a piece of shit for
I
saying
like
that, but
Christopher Nolan for taking risks and trying something that has never been done before. It's really nice to see original ideas, especially in a era where people are remaking everything now. But
I do like how he does practical stunts, and yeah, not really the biggest fan of his cinematography. It's kind of bland, but
oh,
I do like his stunts and his practical effects. I will say that.
I like the actors he gets for his movies.
Yeah. Well, he just created this stigma that he's a god tier director, so
I mean, but yeah, John David Washington was awesome, and I love just how the character's name is just the protagonist. You never actually get a real name, similar to how Kill Bill started.
Yeah.
Uh, she was just known as the bride, but I like how they continue throughout the whole movie, just labeling him as the protagonist.
It's so funny too, because that's basically how I watch movies. Like I'm so bad with names. I just know the character by the face. I'm like, oh yeah, this is this dude, this is that dude. I always like after the movie, I always forget the name. It's like, okay.
Yeah, you have like really bad memory when it comes to stuff like that.
And I just know them by
Names
the
and
act, and I just know them by the actor's name. So I'm like, okay, yeah, Robert Pattinson's doing this, while John Washington's doing this. So they pretty much no character ever has a name to begin with me.
yeah. See where I remember like all the characters and stuff. Uh, I did again. I liked how it was called the protagonist was kind of cool, and I liked how he
Yeah,
even
no, I
referred
do
to
like that.
himself as that a few times.
Yeah. I did like that because well, I knew ahead. I knew before that he didn't have a name and his name was protagonist. Just because everyone was like coming over that, they're fucking jacking that off all to hell.
Yeah, I didn't know that was his given title. I thought he was gonna have a name of some sorts or something, but and also like the moment the first time he said that I'm the protagonist, uh, I already knew. I'm like, oh, okay, well he's gonna be safe the whole movie. He literally just established he has plot armor, so nothing's gonna
A
happen to him.
protagonist, bitch.
Yeah, like I was like, oh, he's fine, so I don't have to worry about him. And I'm like, oh, so Neil's gonna die, and
Well, Neil died, but also he didn't
and
because
is that
paradox.
little kid gonna be Neil? I mean, well, that kid's name is Max, but I remember one of my buddies telling me that like he he's like, oh yeah, that kid is blonde. You don't see his face, and Neil is blonde, and
Maybe, but isn't Neil? Well, Neil went back in time. Well, technically, because he was inverted this whole time. But and then at the end, he wasn't anymore.
yeah,
Well, he because he sacrificed himself for John Washington, the young John Washington.
yeah,
But that's way in the future.
yeah. It's like 30 something years easily, if not more.
So he's already that age. So I don't see how that would.
Well, also like looking at just kind of fun facts at the movie and stuff. After I watched it, they did say that Robert Pattinson dyed his hair blonde, and so
Okay.
maybe who knows? I don't
I
know
mean, oh,
why.
maybe. Yeah, fuck. Maybe. I don't know.
Because looking at IMDb, everyone else looks the same. I mean,
Yeah. I'm glad Robert Pattinson's doing bigger movies now that people can actually want to watch so they can actually see how good of an actor he is now.
he was really good in this movie. I liked him a lot. He's definitely my favorite character.
Yeah, I guess I really didn't have a favorite character. Um,
I just liked how, especially like finding out at the end of the movie that he knew everything that was going to happen. Just kind of liked how casual he was through the whole thing, and I was like always wondering like he just seems like way too relaxed. Like, oh shit, is he gonna be the bad guy at some point? And yeah, no, I just thought he had a good performance. I mean,
his wardrobe was fire. He was always looking on fleek.
both of them were actually. Costume
Yeah,
department went
they're both
did a
good
pretty good
looking
job.
dudes.
Yeah.
But my favorite part was right when they right when they inverted the first time to save that girl's life because she got shot by an inverted bullet. So they needed to have her heal in the inverted world so she could heal faster and like heal just in general.
Oh yeah, Cat.
So they got into that red room with the mirror and the arms dealer was interrogating her and then put her up against the glass and then shot her. That whole scene, like from the car chase to the car chase, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like the car chase in real. time and then back
Inverted
to the
time.
inverted car chase. From that point to that point, that was probably my favorite part for sure.
I like the
It was
scene
cool
where,
how they could see themselves through the mirror.
yeah, and they had like the like every time they were like inverted, they were blue. Every time they were regular, they were red. So I kind of like the color. I
Oh,
really
right.
like
Yeah,
the
I
color
did notice
cues.
that. Yeah, I noticed that too. He definitely did that to make it easier to understand of what side they were filming from, and
Yeah, they did
yeah.
that with the two-way mirror or the well, not two-way, but the mirror with both the colors, and then they also did it at the end with the badges or the patches they put on.
Oh, right, of
Because
each of the teams.
Robert Pattinson's character and all his
Was
guys had the blue, and
blue,
then
yeah.
uh, John David Washington's was red, which
Right.
was normal time for them. So, or at least they were on the
And I always
yeah.
liked it when the times overlapped, so they could like time up something and like that building exploding. I'm pretty sure that was in the final battle. That was the point
Oh yeah, where both their
where
watches synchronized and they shot. So
yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure that's when that happened. So
yeah,
like the building got destroyed but put together at the same time. See, that's cool. See, the whole concept is really dope.
the concept is dope, and like
I
yeah,
the
again
storyline was just
the plot was weak. I wasn't too keen on the plot. I like the concept, and I like it was fun. Like I kind of at moments, especially with the action scenes, I just shut my brain off, and it
like, oh
was
wow,
really
World
cool.
War Three, cool.
Well, not even that. I just like, oh, cool, everything's backwards, especially with the fight where the protagonist is fighting what he finds out to be later on himself, and I like both those fights. That
Which
was
I
really
don't
cool.
understand
Which
because he's
the choreography was like clever, or the camera work, whatever it was. It was
yeah.
visually pleasing to watch, and I rewound it like twice on each fight just because I was like, okay, this is really unique. I've never seen this before, and it looks really smooth. And
I didn't really understand why he was trying to kill himself in either ways. Because they're saying he tried to kill himself because he didn't know it was him, but he technically did know it was him. But
blue or red? Who was trying to kill who?
well, they both were at one point. Cause
Because the blue one. Are you
well,
talking about
it
when he was
seemed
shooting the gun at him?
so. Yeah, it was the first time we see it in the first part. Yeah.
Are you talking about when
Well,
he?
he shoot. Yeah, he shoots the gun at him.
I don't think he was trying to kill him.
Well, why else would he shoot?
You
Or
could
why would they? I don't
you could
understand why
see.
they were fighting in the first
Well, he
place.
was shooting like he might have.
Because technically he did know it was him. Well, obviously he knew it when he was inverted. So why was he trying to stop himself?
Or maybe yeah, no, actually,
But
yeah.
maybe he was trying to do it just because he knew that had to happen to sync up. Like he didn't want to change time. But
Or
that
maybe
whole
thinking that
that whole
eliminating his
like
past self wouldn't mean anything because he's where that version will lead to.
that was the only part where I was like, it didn't really matter.
I mean,
Maybe I think they just wanted
I
to.
thought he was just trying to like because he wasn't shooting at him. He was just like shooting next to him. I thought he was just trying to get all the bullets out because then he rips the top of the gun
Maybe.
off. That's what I thought it was
Yeah, maybe.
because it was like really far and it didn't seem like he was trying to like he wasn't like he was being restrained when he had the gun. He wasn't like trying to attack him. It looked like,
Right,
and then yeah, he took the
right.
top
I
off the
know that,
gun.
but
That's yeah. I didn't think he was trying to kill him. You gotta look, Nick. You gotta pay attention to these things.
I know I'm still like not confused, but like, well, I guess confused
Yeah, this
why that was
movie,
necessary, but
whether for better or for worse, makes you just think. And that's why I like these movies. I mean, Nick, you definitely have to see The Prestige, which is my favorite
is
of
that
all of his movies.
that's the one with Hugh Jackman, right?
Hugh
Or am
Jackman,
I
Michael
done?
Caine, Christian Bale, Scarlett Johansson, and David Bowie and Andy Serkis.
David Bowie. Oh, so it's an old one.
It's a good movie, and yeah, it I can't say anything. It's where you definitely have to watch them. We're definitely going to talk about that because I want to hear, you know, your first impressions of it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But yeah, I mean, again, this movie, like the concept was really cool. Again, yeah, I agree with you. The plot did fall flat. Um, I didn't. Again, I didn't really care about the motivations of any of the characters. I mean, I didn't like the romance aspect necessarily between
I mean,
the
no one.
protagonist and Kat.
Yeah,
I mean, sure.
no one was watching for the plot. Everyone watched for the concept. But
Well, yeah, but it's still a movie, so you still have to discuss the plot. At least you know.
obviously, Christopher spent all his time in the figuring out the concept.
Yeah, and it works great. Like it
Well,
takes a minute to get.
Does he screenwrite, or does he just direct?
I'd like to say screenwrites, but I don't know why I feel like I know that, but yeah, don't take my word on that. Better hit it with a fat Google first.
Fat IMDb.
But
No, he did. He did write it.
yeah, I'm pretty
So
sure he
that's
writes all of his stuff.
respects.
Yeah,
Respect.
I mean, yeah, the concept of this movie was awesome. Uh, I don't know. It's also one of those things where I remember them saying ignorance is our weapon or something like that. So like basically between that, when they first show like inverting the bullet with the protagonist's hand, the scientist or whatever
Yeah, yeah.
says like don't think about it. So like he presents this concept, but it doesn't seem like he fully wants us to grasp it.
Right.
But
Yeah,
also
he's like, just forget about it.
she's like just roll with it, like
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
enjoy it. Which
Don't think about it too much.
yeah, but I mean also oh yeah, actually that just brought up another thing to mind. The whole ignorance is our weapon quote that Neil said to the protagonist at one point. I also think that's like kind of him telling the protagonist not to think about or not think too deeply about this time travel stuff because if they're ignorant and they don't really know what's going to happen in the future, then it's just all going to play out the same rather than
Yeah,
them necessarily knowing the outcome. Unlike Neil, who actually made the right decision and knew that it had to play out the same way. But you know, again, I just love the whole idea that it's all just a loop. All of it's oh, I love it and hate it. Like I think it's kind of
yeah,
cool how it's all predestined, but also it doesn't really have any point to the movie. Then like nothing really matters if it's all just gonna end up the same way anyways. So
yeah.
you know how the movie starts, you know how the movie ends, and then you basically watch the whole thing. Don't really need any of the middle stuff. I mean, anything else you want to say about Tenet? I mean,
Well, and then the big thing of the movie was the algorithm that they referred to, and that was like because the whole time he thought he was going after uh
plutonium.
plutonium, but it turned out it was actually the algorithm, and it was like who created it. I think that was the big question that everyone was talking about, but
People have been saying that things
I
I've seen
mean,
online
I'm
that
pretty
like
sure
it's the
John Washington did, right?
people are saying it's the woman in the beginning
Yeah, the
who's showing him,
scientist
yeah, the
girl.
scientist, because she was saying how she's interested in studying like
Yeah.
how it all works, like how to control it, I guess.
And that's
So
another just paradox because like she wouldn't have created it, or she wouldn't have created it if it didn't already exist. You know what I mean?
yeah, and she wouldn't be
So
able to create
she
it if she couldn't study it and perfect it.
right, so how did she create it? So yeah, like a paradox, I know you probably know what a paradox is, but I don't know if people listening do, even though no one's listening.
Explain it.
Like, it's the whole what came first, the chicken or the egg. The simplest way to say what a paradox is. So like,
You can never really figure
so
out the right answer.
Right. Did
So,
she make the algorithm, or did the algorithm already exist? Because how would it have? How did? Because well, maybe it did exist. Maybe she didn't create it. Because I don't understand how she would have created it.
well, she had time. I mean,
Because maybe it's like gravity. Gravity always existed, but
yeah, but I mean,
but
I think it's her.
Isaac
I think
Newton,
it's her just studying it and
right,
just cycles
naming it
back.
and
Yeah,
figuring it out.
because she couldn't create it if she didn't know what to study from. But
Right.
if she um created it, then she'd have something to study from. So it all just kind of warps back into itself.
And the whole World War III thing was he thought the plutonium was just going to be a weapon where it fucked everyone up.
No, it was the
But
algorithm.
the right, exactly.
Yeah.
So and that would have just destroyed history completely. So is it really a World War III? It was more like a terrorist event,
Well, but
but
like
it
the thing was, is like it was people from the future. Like, oh, the world's like all fucked up, and then because yeah, it was about global warming. Because I remember that because I was confused and I had to rewind it because I'm like, um, Sart. Nick, look
well
up the
that's why
name of the bad guy.
that's
Sergio. I'm bad with names.
what the
The main
actor
villain,
the
the character name. But anyways, um,
uh, yeah
yeah,
on
he was getting
fuck Andre.
Yeah, sure, okay. Well, anyways, he was trying to like prevent global warming by activating the device and then basically inverting our timeline so that we don't exist, so that everything's, the earth is all healthy because we're not messing with it, which preserves the future. But if there's no past, then there can't be a future. Again, this movie, there's so many ways you could look at it. There's so many different questions and just different avenues you could take. It's,
Yeah.
again, like watching it and discussing it is giving me, because I feel like I get it at one point and then I start second guessing myself and I'm like, well, maybe this is a reason, and just ping ponging back and forth.
Maybe that's why Christopher Nolan he like his movies might not actually be good, but he tricks us into thinking they're good by questioning ourselves. Maybe that's the real meaning of the movie.
I mean, who
No, I'm
knows?
kidding.
I don't think that's yeah, I don't think that's it, but I mean,
I don't want to.
his movies
I
definitely
don't
get
want to
people
shit on
talking
him.
though. I mean,
They definitely do that. They definitely do that.
basically this has just been us trying to discuss the concept and explanation of how the whole time thing works in
Yeah, I
Tenet,
was just
but
explaining it.
yeah, but like, dude, I can't imagine when we do the Prestige because I think it's going to be a lot longer than this because I have oh, I
So
need
that's fucky too. It's literally all of his movies
it.
fucky. That's so
I
like,
mean, yeah, it kind of is, but it's in that movie.
what's the genre? Just
I mean, basically, it's two magicians trying to outdo each other. Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman are
like
both the magicians.
real magicians, or just like real life magicians,
Like
or is that
real
the
life,
don't spoil it? But
no, like real life magicians in like the
so
1800s or
there's
whatever, early
right.
19 or no, like 1920s or something like that.
Isn't like Nikola Tesla in that or something?
Yeah, that's who David Bowie is.
Oh, oh, that makes sense.
So yeah, whatever
I think
era that
that's the only
is,
thing I know about that movie.
he's good in it. But yeah, no, it is a little fucky. I mean, it's not hard to put together. I was able to put it together pretty fast, but at the end of the movie, when they explain things, you just kind of remember and you're like, "Oh, wow, it was I should have known the whole time" type of deal.
On Tubi for free, so it only has a 76 on Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't really trust Rotten Tomatoes that much.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, I'd say that's probably
Period
my
thriller
favorite.
set in Edwardian London, where two rival magicians partners until the tragic death of an assistant during a show feud bitterly after one of them performs the ultimate magic trick, teleportation. His rival tries desperately to uncover the secret of his routine. Blah 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 blah. Well, there.
That
I
was
do like
that was
how it's a
beautiful,
period
Nick.
piece. Thank you. We'll have to start a new segment where I read plot synopsises for movies.
I could do the same. I'm staring at my wall of DVD collections.
DVD. Just read the back cover. We'll call it back cover.
The back cover boys.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
You got 2.5 hours. Watch Prestige
yeah.
tonight.
Well, now everyone has to watch this episode backwards for it to make sense. So
Yeah, I mean, either way, it's gonna sound like nonsense because we're just rambling and trying to figure out how the movie even works. Even after we started the video saying, "Oh well, I'm not confused," now we're just like, "Well, just gotta rethink some things."
well now, like yeah,
None of it matters, Nick.
Anna,
That's the point of the movie. Nothing matters.
Devik, kayak, level, madame, mom,
Okay, you done? I'm ready to end this. You done?
noon, race car,
Dune's coming out
radar.
soon. You excited about that?
What?
You said Dune. I'm like, Dune's coming out soon. You're excited about
Oh,
that?
I said noon, but
Oh,
yeah, I don't really know anything about Dune, but
gotta get my
I like
ears.
I
Gotta
like
get my ears
Timothy
checked. Fuck.
Chalamet. Fuck.
Yeah, I know. You want Timothy
Fuck salt.
Chalamet to be Terry McGinnis?
Hell yeah, baby. Or Nightwing.
No.
He's probably too old for Tim Drake at this point, but
There's no way he could wear the amount of lipstick that Terry McGinnis wore in the animated show.
I think he's just really pale. Timothy's pale.
Well, yes, we're not going to talk about iron deficiency because we already have a friend that suffers from it severely.
You want to hear a really long palindrome?
You're going to do it anyway, so go for it. Why not?
Hell yeah, I am. Eva, can I see bees in a cave? No lemon, no melon. Am I blowing your mind right now? I'm basically Christopher Nolan.
I
Was it a cat I saw? Red rum, sir, is murder.
You are having
Oh
too
my
much
god.
fun with this.
Tenet is basically fucking The Shining. Oh my god, it is.
So is the protagonist going to show up in Doctor Sleep too?
I think so. But fuck Warner Brothers, so
Yeah.
yeah. Later, nerds.